Every now and then, there is a game release that becomes the talk of the week or even the month. It is often that these titles fizzle out and die after a month or two, fading away into obscurity only to be brought up in topics of failed launches. However, there is one game recently that has everyone's attention, and if they play their cards right, it's looking to be around for a long while. That game is, of course, Marvel Rivals, a 6v6 hero shooter. It takes the Overwatch formula and inserts characters from the Marvel IP into the roster. It seemed like it was going to be a clone and a ripoff, but it quickly turned into something that just breathed new life into a genre that felt already dead and oversaturated. And to be quite honest, I couldn't be more addicted. Previously, I played Apex Legends. It was my introduction to PC gaming and the first shooter I ever played consistently. I put an unholy amount of hours into the game, and it sparked one of the greatest passions I've ever had. I always had a thrill for competition, so naturally I gravitated towards climbing the rank ladder. It was one of my days off from work. My friends kept talking about Marvel Rivals, so I figured we don't play many games together, so let me just jump at this opportunity to be able to play with. I downloaded it, we played for a few hours, and after I logged off, I remember thinking, this is how Apex felt, only now I'm not joining a game already 3 years into its lifespan. Rivals is new, and it looks as though it's here to stay. It has new and interesting skills for me to learn and develop, but most importantly, all my friends are playing. Now, on to what you came here for. How did I reach Grandmaster in 5 days? Before I made the full commitment to Rivals, I would queue up ranked every so often. Before I knew it, I had reached Platinum. Primarily on the back of playing Scarlet Witch, but she was too simple a hero and she wasn't really seen as all too good. She was great for a beginner and she really helped me in learning the foundations of the game. But I wanted to learn someone new, a DPS who was a bit more challenging and rewarded good execution. After feeling a bit more comfortable with the game, I began experimenting with other DPS characters and eventually settled on Star-Lord. To quickly go over his abilities, the main tool you'll see Star-Lord players use is Jetpack Dash. This is one of the best mobility options in the entire game because it never feels like you're stuck in one place for too long. Repositioning is incredibly easy, and to play him well, you need to always be on the move and attacking from different angles. His next ability is a dodge roll, and it's exactly how it sounds. You pick any direction to dodge, and Star-Lord will be invincible for a short moment, dodging any incoming damage. As if that wasn't broken enough, this ability has a special little property that makes it my favorite move to use. And it's the fact that every time you roll, you automatically reload your gun and are able to start shooting immediately. Meaning if you want to just pepper the front line with a few bullets, you can. But if a target's just low enough, you can add in an aggressive dodge roll to get that last bit of damage you may need to finish them off. The user experience is truly customizable, as the way you move around and fight the opponent depends completely on the player piloting the character. For his last ability, Star-Lord does a spinning attack, shooting enemies in a given radius. This attack does a surprising amount of damage, and it's a good finisher in close range duels. However, the best way to use this ability is above an enemy team that are crowded together to build up your ultimate charge. Speaking of which, the last thing to go over is his ultimate. Star-Lord flies in the air, not needing any fuel, and auto-logs onto any enemy highlighted on his screen. This ultimate, it's incredibly strong and can sometimes win you entire team fights alone. I've gotten many quadras and pentas with this move alone. Picking up Star-Lord was probably the best thing that could have happened. His kit was simple, but there was a lot to learn. His playstyle was versatile, allowing him to fit on almost any team composition, making my journey from plat to diamond only a couple days. It was then I realized that there were only 5 days left in the season and made it my goal to hit Grandmaster before the ranks reset. The gameplay loop for Star-Lord is actually quite simple. Use your movement to get to positions enemies are expecting you, to give your team an advantage throughout a fight. You want to constantly be moving around and looking for picks, but your ultimate goal is to charge your ultimate, because once it's available, it's an entire game changer. Because if your opponents don't play around it properly, it'll swing an entire fight. The best counter to Star-Lord's ultimate is any healing ultimate, where the healing usually outdoes the damage done by his ult. So what do? The answer is you bait out support ultimates, and the best way to do that is to pressure the enemy backline to the point where they feel overwhelmed and end up using it prematurely. Or you give them no other option to use it, or else they die. Typically there's going to be about 2 supports on the enemy team, and if you manage to bait out both support ultimates, then you'll have a nice Star-Lord ultimate, killing at least 3 people every time. So the win condition's clear. Get ultimate, you bait out the enemy's ultimate, and you win the game. But it's not that simple. See, enemies are familiar with your win conditions as well as their own, so they're going to work to counteract it. So it kind of becomes a fun game of like cat and mouse where you're trying to bait out their ultimates while they're trying to desperately hold on to theirs until you use yours. It was this concept that I had to learn and implement in my play that enabled me to finally start climbing the ranks. I mean, look at these two Star-Lord ults. This one, I killed both the DPS in the final seconds. It completely neutralized the enemy push and we just rolled over them. The second one, it was to clutch the game in the final fight in overtime, securing my rank up from Diamond 3 to Diamond 2. Throughout Diamond 2, much was the same, but something happened in my promotion game that I wanted to highlight. It was nearing the end of the game, and we desperately needed to push the payload. Our team wasn't outputting enough damage to pressure the supports enough to use their ults. I knew they had them, and we needed to get them out. So I found a new way to use my ultimate. I decided to use my ult to bait out one of their support ults, and to my surprise, the pressure I created actually made them use both. See, communication in this game is quite scarce, and often is the case you won't see supports coordinate their abilities together. While I was completely lucky that this had happened, I created this luck by creating the pressure to make them react in this way. After their abilities ran out, they no longer had the sustain for our attack and quickly fell, and now we're in Diamond 1. So far, everything felt nice, quick, and easy, but in Diamond 1, I felt like I reached a new threshold. Every game felt pretty difficult, and as I approached closer and closer to Grandmaster, it felt like the game was playing a sick joke on me, as I was one game away only to lose the next game miserably, only to win the game right after that just to lose yet again. This win-loss cycle persisted for just about 2 days. The goal of Grandmaster was just out of reach, taunting me, as if to say, you're just not good enough yet. So I sat there, 2 wins away from Grandmaster, and the game I queued up into was truly a test of will. See, we hadn't managed to push the payload very far. Now we're forced to defend, and it seemed hopeless. The enemy was just pushing through. I was exiting spawn, and the enemy was under 10 meters away with about 4 minutes left on the clock. It truly seemed lost. Someone on our team was contesting the point, so I said, hey, why not show up and at least try? I have my ult. I used my ability and we managed to defend. But given the course of the game, surely they come back and cap the point. Oh wait, we defended this one too. Now my ultimate's back up. We defend for a third and final time, winning the game, and now I'm back to being 1 game away again. I want this to show you how hard every game felt at this point. This game felt all but lost at one point, and yet we managed to win. Now I'm sitting at just 1 win away yet again, and my hopes are at an all-time high. But something lingers in my mind. Is this another cruel joke played upon me by the matchmaking system? Or was this the break that I needed all along? If we manage to win this game, then no game is unwinnable. There's always a chance. 1 win away yet again, and the only way out is through. This was it, the promotion game. The first half was going pretty standard, but we were having difficulty capturing the final point, and we ended up in overtime. It became a race between me and the supports, scrambling to get our ultimates charged up. I needed to get my ultimate before them, or it was all over. And I did. While I only killed 1 person here, the value should not be understated. This kill reduced the number of enemies on their team, and separated the remaining players that were alive to allow my team to completely overpower whoever was contesting the point and win the fight. In the end, the enemy could do nothing but trickle into the point, desperately trying to save it 1 by 1. Because this has been the theme of my rank journey, the second half wasn't going too well. The enemy was already halfway down and they still had 4 minutes remaining. This was going to be an uphill battle. For the second game in a row, they're at the doorstep of the goal and have all the time in the world. And for the second time, we managed to get a stop. Although it required the use of my ultimate, and I didn't even get that many kills with it. But wait, their support just ulted right after me. And if we survive this, it's going to be another race to see who has their ultimate first. I'm only at 27%, and I don't know when the other support is going to have their ultimate. I'm going to have to gamble. And as soon as I get my ult, I'm going to have to use it. And just pray that the supports don't have theirs. 70%, 80%, 90%, only 60 seconds left. I'm just going to have to get it and go. The moment of truth hits and they don't have any support ults. So we wiped them, and it finally gave us a chance to breathe. As the time winds down and we reached overtime, we're fighting at the choke point yet again, and we're holding them off really well, not making any progress until my Doctor Strange hits a crazy clutch 3-person ultimate that wins us the team fight and the game, and it finally gives us Grandmaster. Now, this isn't the highest rank in the game, and I don't think it was the hardest journey, but given my time constraints and just the amount of hours that I have in this game, I think this was a decent rank to achieve, given this was also my first season spent playing the game. I only hope to climb higher next season.